Welcome to this program on the things you need in life every day and you didn't get in school. And the reason I've named it that, the reason I've built this program and I'm doing a bunch of stuff along these lines is that we didn't learn the stuff we needed in school, did we? We learned some things, and I'm not trying to write off school. I've got a couple of degrees past high school, and I love education. I love learning. Having said that, school really doesn't prepare us for the most important things in life. What I want to do with this course and program is present things in a different way. I'm going to present ideas. This is all very focused on business and building your business, getting it off the ground and doing it in a way that is congruent with who you are and what you want to speak to this world about, how you want to fit your product and service into the world and make it a better place. Here's the basic concept. The basic concept is most of us want to have things, right? We want to have more time. We want to have more freedom. We want to have better relationships. We want to have more money. And this is all related to business, really, and life in general. We want to have all these things. But in order to have these things, we need to do things, and we need to do these specific things in a specific way in order to be successful in business. In order to do things, because you know you need to do things that you don't do, we need to become a certain kind of person. So where we start in this program is with being. We need to become somebody. Now, this doesn't mean that we need to become somebody that we are not. It doesn't mean that you don't have the right genes or you don't have the right, character or personality to do things. You can change the skills you have in order to be the person you want to become, to do the things you want to do, to have the things you want. I'll use a really quick example for you. Most people, as much as people say they want to win the lottery, people don't want to win the lottery. And I'll tell you why. Most people, something like 65 to 75% of people who win the lottery within 2 years of winning are worse off than they were before. Their financial situation is worse off than they were before. Sometimes their relationships are worse off as well. The reason people can't keep money and do well is because they aren't ready for the money. We will only receive things in life and be able to keep them long term by becoming someone ready for these things. So think about this with your life. And again, we're going to talk about business, but let's bring this out to more areas of life because it fits more areas of life. How many people do you know that can make money but have no idea to keep it? No idea how to keep it? It runs through their fingers. And listen, so we're going to use money, but we use other examples. This can be applied to other situations like relationships. Do you know people who get into relationships and sometimes with fantastic human beings? Maybe this is you. And yet they can't keep that person. They can't stay in that relationship. Or physical health. They start on different physical programs and diets and different things. And yet they go back and forth between having too much weight and feeling awful, not eating enough at times. Become a person who values your body on a consistent basis and treats it like a finely tuned vehicle. And then you'll be able to live with it for a long time, right? What about business? What if you aren't a salesperson? If you aren't a salesperson, if you don't have some of those basic abilities in you, then guess what? You're not going to have a business long term. You might have a network where you have a few sales for a little bit, but it's going to eventually fizzle. You need to become the right kind of person. There's a great a number of books written on this, but I remember hearing one person, Robert Kiyosaki. I'll mention him every once in a while. Robert Kiyosaki talks about how if he lost everything, so he's a multimillionaire. If he lost everything, he could have most of it back within a very short period of time. Why? Because the money isn't the big thing. It's the knowledge that gives you the money. It's you need to become the right kind of person, right? So when you become the person you need to become to do what you need to do, then you can have what you want. I hope this makes sense. Let's talk about doing for a little bit. About how motivated are you to take the kind of action you must take in order to have what you want? Are you doing the things you need to do? And if not, what's going on there? Do you make consistent sales calls if you're in business for yourself? Do you say and do the things you need to in order to maintain healthy relationships with people you care about? If you aren't doing things, it doesn't mean you lack the desire for these things. I know that you desire to do certain things. I desire to do certain things, and I have before. It doesn't mean you're lazy. It doesn't mean you're stupid. What it means is that you're human. I've never met someone on the planet who has all of life completely together and takes action in every area of life to get what they want. So if you aren't doing what you need to do, it simply means you lack motivation on the days you aren't doing what you want to do. And that might be 6 days of the week, it might be 29 days in the month, or it might be 1 day a week, 1 day a year. But if it's 1 day a year, you're probably not in this course, right? You probably are looking for more and looking for more help in these areas. I'm an expert in motivation, and I'm going to teach you what you need in order to motivate yourself. Here's a key. Life is a journey of learning how to get what we want. Life is a journey of learning how to get what we want. And we've got to take the lessons in as time goes by and as they come our way. Lastly, having. When we become who we need to become, to take the consistent action we need to take, and we do the things we need to do, you know what? We'll not only gain the results we want, but we will also keep those results. We'll not only grow our business, but we'll keep a great business. We'll not only gain a new client, but we'll keep that new client. We'll not only grow in relationships, but we'll keep those relationships. We won't only grow in our physical health or whatever it is, but we'll keep those things. And again, these all fit together. There's a major problem with the way most people try to change behavior. And if you know me, if you've heard me speak before, you'll hear me talk about this concept quite a bit because it's fundamental to everything that I do. Let's take a closer look at how you are getting the results you are getting in your life. We all have past experiences that have impacted us. Usually these events are tied to how others have reacted when we did or did not do something. So like a comment from a teacher or a parent or a friend or a sibling. Quick example, I was told I was retarded in grade 2, told I wasn't as good a singer as my brother. And these things stuck with me. They were fairly, well, I don't know about the first comment, but a lot of comments that stuck with me through my childhood were things that people didn't mean to hurt me with. But this can also happen in adulthood. Having a couple of broken relationships, having a couple of failed business experiences or failed money experiences, investing experiences, being told you have a certain body shape that you take to heart, parents not handling money well, like all these situations tend to play on us, okay? So we've got these past results or situations that have happened. What happens is we attach emotions and beliefs to these past situations. We make decisions emotionally, and it is extremely important that you realize this. We will talk about it again in one of the lessons here, but we are not logical creatures. You are not a logical creature. I am not a logical creature. We are emotional whether we believe so or not. No matter how much we try to hide or control our emotions, we're emotional creatures. Spend 5 minutes with me one-on-one and I'll show you exactly how you are making decisions emotionally on a consistent basis. I'll give you a really quick example here. Think back to the last time you were angry and you said or did things to your own family that you know don't make a situation better. At that time, you were using your emotional brain, not your logical brain. Even though you knew that wasn't the ideal, even though you knew better, you still did something. You took action in a certain way or didn't take action in a certain way. That's based on this idea that we are emotional creatures and we make decisions emotionally. Our emotions typically overrun other things that are going on in our lives we were born that way. Our emotional brain is set up to really protect us. If fear is attached to any situation, we all have a typical response. We either close down and run away and hide, or we fight. Either way, we are reacting strongly, governed by that emotion of fear. Now, here's a really quick question. How do you react to fear? If fear or anger or sadness or some other strong emotion is attached, you will react in a certain way. And you won't necessarily react in the same way I do, but we all react in certain ways that we've learned and grown in. What are the ways you react? Do you play games on your phone or computer when you're stressed? Do you watch TV? Do you pick a fight with a family member? Maybe do you turn to food? Do you eat sugar or fatty foods or whatever? Everyone I've met struggles with some type of pattern that is close to an addiction. My own addiction is sugar. When I'm overwhelmed, I typically find myself rummaging through cupboards looking for food, even though I'm not hungry. In fact, I can be full. My wife knows this behavior so well that she will see what I'm doing and ask me, Mark, what are you stressing out about right now? Because this is such a normal pattern for me. Now, I don't do this all the time, and I actually don't eat very, very much sugar anymore. I used to eat a lot, but this is still something I struggle with, and I'll still find that when I'm stressed, I have this response that I want to react in a certain way. Procrastination is a major way we attempt to escape from strong emotions. Procrastination is not that we're taking action toward our goals, it's that we're not taking action. is that we get distracted with something else. So if I believe I'm not good at school or I'm frustrated whenever I think about it, do you think I'm more likely to do my homework and work hard? Think about me going back to grade 2, and that's when I found out I was retarded, right? Mentally retarded. Do you think I'm more likely to do my homework and work hard? Or do you think I'm more likely to get distracted easily and skip science classes more often? What do you think is more likely? I'm going to react. I'm going to react on what I believe about myself, what I'm thinking about, what I'm feeling. When our actions come from emotions that we don't even understand, we tend to do the same things we've done in the past and get the same results we've realized in the past. This is the crazy cycle. We have past results. We've got beliefs, emotions attached to those results, our thoughts. Then we have these habits, routines, patterns, actions that stem from the beliefs, thoughts, emotions. And they get us more of the results. And we tend to go in the same direction. And then when we get a new result, we go, see, I knew this about myself. It actually confirms the beliefs and the emotions that we have from the past. So I'm just going to give you maybe a few questions here to think about. What are the emotions connected to business for you? What are the emotions connected to money? What are the emotions connected to sales? What are the emotions connected to having a consistent routine where you do the same things over and over again? Think about your goals for a moment. What are the emotions attached to your goals? Most of my clients, when I first meet them, feel shame, fear, discouragement, frustration, or sadness when they're thinking about their goals. And that's because they've failed at their goals many times, and they're starting to give up on themselves and lack hope. If these emotions are attached to your goals, guess what you won't be doing? That's right, you won't be working towards your goals, no matter how much you want them. Does this make sense? What is a paradigm? A paradigm is like a setting. So when I talk about paradigm, what I mean is those emotional attachments to certain beliefs. So I'm not smart, or I can't sing, or I don't like sales, or I'm bad at this, or I'm good at this, or whatever it is, okay? It's like a setting. It can be changed, okay? So it's like the thermostat setting. This is what a paradigm is like. And it can be changed, but there's a limited range that you can operate in once it's set. So if it's set at 22, you might bump up to 24 or 20. Okay? Think about your house. Okay? When it goes beyond 24, what kicks in? Your AC. When it goes below 20, what kicks in? Your furnace. Think about what happens with your weight. Your weight is the same way. I bet there's a certain weight or a pattern of weight that you've had for a long time where you've gone up slowly in incremental amounts. And if you gain way too much, if you're 10, 20 pounds over that weight, you start to work out hard and decrease that weight. And if you go down below a certain amount, even though you want to be below that certain amount, you bump up again. Is this not true of your income? Think about your income. What are the patterns? Are you good at making money or not? Are you good at saving money or keeping money? Sorry, I shouldn't even say saving money because it's not necessarily saving, but keeping money or not. Do you lose it? What are your patterns with income? I bet if you look over the last few years, you've had a similar pattern of income. How much you have. If you want to earn more, what you need to do is change the thermostat setting. If you want to weigh a different amount, you've got to change the thermostat setting. If you want your relationships to turn out differently, your business to be different, you need to change the thermostat setting. If you just keep operating within that limited range, you're always going to be frustrated. Now, when you are getting the results you don't want, what do you typically do? Most people try to change their behavior, their actions, their habits, their routines. How many diets have you tried? How many times have you told yourself, I'll start learning to say no in relationships rather than taking on too much and trying to save other people? How many times have you said, I'll take this one course and it'll be the thing that makes me more money? How many gym passes have you purchased at the start of the year or close to your birthday? Here's the next question, and it's important. How many of those gym passes have you thought of even 2 to 3 months later? Most people don't even know where they are anymore. When you try to change your behavior with new habits and actions and routines, you will more often than not fail. Why is it that we will fail when we're trying to change our patterns and our routines? Because you are going after the symptom, not the cause. If you sleep terribly after a bigger than normal meal at supper, the answer isn't to take more sleeping pills. The answer is to change the way you eat at supper. In the same way, if you keep going after the actions and habits, you'll most likely fail and be even more frustrated with yourself and your results. What we need to change is our emotional attachment and beliefs about situations. First, you need to become fully aware of what those beliefs and emotions are. Now, this is not sitting on a couch with a therapist for years and years talking about your dreams. That's not what we're going to be doing here, okay? What it is a little bit of awareness and then action. Once you know your emotions and your beliefs, next you can change your belief and start to work on actions. Now, with working on, just a really quick word on changing your beliefs. When I lived in Sweden for a couple of years after high school, I realized I loved learning. So this comes from the person who was called mentally retarded, right? I realized I love learning language, history, culture. As soon as this happened, I began reading more and learning more. When I began learning more, I went back to school and I was on the dean's list, both in my bachelor degree and my master's degree. I was on the dean's list. I was getting great grades. Mr. Retarded Mark Frentz, right? Why is that? Well, how is it that the same person could be mentally retarded and be taking advanced degrees and doing extremely well? What it took was a change in that belief, a realization that, wait a second, I like something. In the same way, if you realize you eat and sleep in when you are feeling overwhelmed with work and end up, gaining weight or yelling at your colleagues or coworkers or employees, there is a much easier fix than going to the gym more often for your weight or going to just working harder at work. The easy fix is to deal with feeling overwhelmed in a different way. As soon as you deal with the emotional part, you'll stop overeating. You'll stop oversleeping. You'll go to bed at the right time. You'll start a routine that works for you. You'll begin feeling better and staying at a different weight or a different income level. It'll change you. If you spend money because you believe it's easy come, easy go, you can change that belief and realize that money doesn't need to flow through your fingers like water. At that point in time, you can start keeping more of your money and investing it in real estate instead of new clothing, and you'll have more money to retire. When we change our beliefs and our emotional attachment to situations, we change our lives. When you change the belief, the patterns will start to change as well. I'm sure that this has happened for you. If you've ever been diagnosed with diabetes or some other health concern, all of a sudden you start changing some of your eating habits. Well, most people do, not everyone. Some people aren't questioning their emotions or that paradigm, okay? What starts to happen is you start to have new results. That's the basic premise of this, all right? When we change our beliefs and our emotional attachment to situations, we change our lives. One of the important questions you should be asking right now is, so what, Mark? So what? You've told us a bit of information. Maybe we know a little bit of ourselves. Maybe we don't. Maybe I understand this. Maybe I don't. But so what? What I need is change. What I don't need is information. And you are absolutely right with that. So over the next 10 weeks, here are some things that we will go through, okay? Over the next 10 weeks, you will become more aware of your beliefs in many areas of life. That is something that I am committed to helping you with. Because as you do that, you can start to take action in a different way. Number 2, I will give you practical action steps to take. So over the next 10 weeks, you will be given those practical action steps. I promise you this, okay? You will have practical actions, things that you can measure. And that's a really important thing. To become happier is a great dream. It's not a goal. Why? Because it's not measurable. How do you know whether you're happy or not? It's very difficult to measure. As soon as you start to measure things, you are able to measure your progress. You're able to see progress and be encouraged far more, okay? You build much more momentum. And I'm also going to give you an understanding of how to motivate yourself. This is maybe the most important thing I can give to anybody. Honestly, one of the most important things I can give to anyone is how to motivate themselves. Once you learn how to motivate yourselves in the ways that you need to grow, then you have a skill that you don't need me for. And to me, that's really important. Like, who cares if I can help you with things, if you can't learn to help yourself with things? So one of my desires is to give you an understanding of how to motivate yourself, to give you some keys in that. And if you grow in that, then you don't need to work with other people constantly. Hopefully you do work with other people, as I do consistently, to continue to grow yourself. Having said that, you will have mastered a skill. Have you ever heard the story or the idiom, teach a person to fish and they feed themselves for a whole life? Whereas when you only give a person a fish, they feed themselves that day. What I want to do in this is teach you how to fish. Now, giving you a fish is a lot easier. It's far easier, but it's not more valuable. teaching you how to fish is more valuable. And teaching how to motivate yourself is far more valuable than saying, hey, I'm going to give you a raw speech this week and you'll feel good for 2 days. Because that's not what I'm after. And I don't think that's what you're after either. Action steps. So I'm going to give you action steps even for this introductory video. I want you, first of all, to take some time to think about what you don't want more of. Okay? You're sick of being stuck and sitting in the muck. Think of the bad and the ugly in your life. And I want you to use this to your advantage. Be frustrated and use it to your advantage. This is part of motivating yourself, of thinking about the things that don't work for us. This is really, really helpful. So think about the ugly. Think about the bad in your life. Think about what you don't want more of, okay? And I want you to sit in the muck for a little while. Now, that seems counterintuitive. You're like, Mark, come on, shouldn't I be feeling good after these? It's okay to feel bad every once in a while, okay? Feel rotten. Then, I want you to ask yourself what you want. Take time to imagine what life will look like when you change the results you are getting in life. So sit in the negative, sit in the mud, and go, I do not like this. Think about all the problems that you're going through. Maybe it's life-work balance. Maybe it is, I don't know, confidence or lack of sales or frustration with money problem, whatever it is, okay? Not pleasing your clients, whatever it is. Lots of clients complaining. Sit in that for a while and ask yourself, if I continue doing things that I'm doing, where will I be? And then switch it and go, wait a second, what do I want? Imagine what life will look like when you change the results you're getting in life. And lastly, make a commitment. Have an open mind and try giving yourself to this process, all right? Do what I tell you to do for the first couple of months here, okay? For the first few weeks here, and you'll begin to see something in yourself that will change your life. I promise that. I'm going to repeat that. Do what I tell you to do for the first few weeks, and you'll begin something in yourself that will change your life. Give me a couple of months of you, and you will grow in confidence, and your beliefs about how you can live your life, how much time, energy, money you can have to pursue what you are passionate about will change if you give me your time, if you come with an open mind and do the things that I ask you to do. All right. Enjoy this process. Lastly, before we get into this, you're going to be in for a whirlwind now. There's lots of information here. Don't worry about the information so much. Focus on the action steps. Information is only valuable if you take the action. So definitely take action. A reminder, only take one action. Only take one action out of the action steps that are on each in each video. Keep in mind that the action steps on this slide right now that I'm showing you, I've given you 3. Yeah, do all 3 of these. This is the one action, okay? Having said that, going forward, just take one.